We are live. Let's get ready to podcast.
Fire it up.
What's going on, everybody? Tom Quiet here, live and amplified. We are sitting here with Jeff Cabana on another actual Sunday sit down this time.
Yeah, it's on a Sun. It's actually a Sunday.
Because I think the last one, it was like a Saturday.
Yeah.
So, what's good, man?
Not much. Just wrapped up our Outlaw musical podcast earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
Here out in Bastrop in Texas.
Yep.
At Gracie's.
Yes.
That's the name of it. Yep.
Yes.
That was a really good time, man. Everybody was, in a great mood, good vibe. It was nice and warm, a little too warm, but
I almost fell out.
It was humid is what it was.
Yeah.
I was pouring sweat.
Well, because what got me was about 4 minutes into the thing, I was already out of water, and I was like, oh, well, I'm going to just make it work. And then I didn't realize how hot I was.
Yeah.
Until I stood up, and then like a pool of sweat poured out of my stomach.
Yep.
And I was just like, oh, shit. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I had to milk my water. You know what I mean? Like slowly drink it. But because, I have a bad habit of having to get up and go pee during a 2-hour podcast. I have a child's bladder.
It happens.
It was a good time, man.
Yeah. It was an interesting last 72 hours for the lead up to the podcast, because it was like, it felt like it was ever changing. So
yeah. For the first time, we had somebody cancel almost last minute, practically last minute, and then we had to get someone to fill in. Which what was her name?
Jillian. What the fuck's her last name?
I don't know.
Jillian. We'll go
Jillian.
Yeah.
Okay. She was performer number 2 today, and she did an amazing job. Young girl, just kind of coming up. She's been doing it for about a year, she said?
Oh, she's been doing it for a bit, but I think she's been taking it serious for like a year or so.
Gotcha. Well, she's doing a really good job. Great songwriter.
Yeah.
But that was awesome that we were able to get her on. And then, of course, it was really cool getting to hear Dustin, because the last time I was out here, I got to chill and do a podcast with him.
Yeah.
But I didn't get to hear him perform.
Yeah.
You know?
And that was his solo stuff. He's got a full band that he usually plays with. And, it's a whole thing, so.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing him with the band.
Yeah. I'd imagine more of his band stuff is up in Dallas. That just kind of seems where his band gets booked a little bit more frequently.
Right. Yeah, well, the biggest cities are usually better for full bands.
Yeah. And then Dustin will be doing his music festival again, so you'll see his band. Well, he made it seem like that it was just gonna be more of like people shooting the shit and hanging out. So
it's like a jam.
Yeah. So
jam sessions.
We'll see how that plays, and
yeah.
And
I'm a percussionist, so I'll jam with just about anybody.
Right. It'll be one of those deals where I feel like he's going to go too far left with it, and it's not going to be as organized.
Right.
And people are going to be like, well, it's not really a music festival. It's like a camping trip.
Yeah, it's still cool.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But it's one of those deals where it's just kind of like, it's cool that he's bringing it back and he's continuing to do his thing.
Right.
No matter what it is.
Right. Yeah, it's really good to see him, keep it going.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to come down for it. I know you've gone the last few years. So.
Yeah. It'll be, I think you said like the first 3 weeks of October, or the first weekend of October, I think is what he was saying.
Yeah. It's probably a good time of the year, just kind of like fall kicking in and stuff. It's cooling off a touch.
Yeah. Last year was the first time I think that we had like legitimate rain.
Okay.
And it wasn't even like raining that bad. It was just kind of like you woke up, or like the first 5-6 sets, they had to be moved from the outside in.
Oh, okay.
Because it was just kind of like raining enough to be annoying.
Right. It didn't turn into like a full-blown Woodstock.
No.
Gotcha.
It was it was wet enough to be annoying, and it was just kind of like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah, and then with, electrical equipment, musical equipment, you kind of...
Yeah. You
don't want to be out in that.
And I felt bad because there's some people that came from far away to play, and they were supposed to be like the earlier sets outside.
Right.
And they got moved inside. And then once they were... Let's see, how did it play out? So they were finishing up the inside sets, and then they were going to move back outside.
Right.
But halfway through the last set on the inside, they started sound checking outside.
Oh.
And it disrupted the entire set. Like, it was just like...
Yeah, that sucks.
Okay, well, I can't do anything because...
Right, now with that going on.
Yeah.
Which I get.
Because it was all like solo acoustic stuff on the inside.
Right.
And when you got full bands sound checking outside.
Yeah, nah, that doesn't work.
Yeah. No shots at anybody, but it was just kind of like.
Just bad timing.
Yeah. It was the whole thing. And I told Dustin that. I was like, yeah, the only thing that sucked is when they started sound checking halfway through the last set. And that just killed the vibe,
Yeah.
So. But it'll be cool. I'll be really interested to see how this year's festival goes, and it is what it is. I
haven't been to a good festival in a while, anyway.
Yeah, it's definitely a good vibe. I don't remember where he said he's looking at taking it this year. I know it's going to be a different venue because the venue that he had been at venue's a bitch to get around. Sober, well-able-bodied people had problems getting around.
Yeah. So Drunken Tom had a big problem.
Oh, yeah. It was, and I mean, I never really went down by the stage because it was because it's on the river, right? So, steep inclines and all that shit.
Yeah.
Which,
it's not ADD compliant.
Yeah. And, they have stairs and whatnot, but it's just kind of all very steep, and it's just
Right. That's why we got to get you a golf cart.
Honestly, that's why I sent you those cooler carts. Yeah. Did I send you that photo?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I really want.
Right.
That would just be fun to rip around on.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it would. And I mean, a little live and amplified cart would be nice.
Yeah. It'd be, the cooler carts are cool because you could do battery or gas powered.
Yep.
And honestly, at this point, since I got the cooler in there, if I could find just the cart itself without having to pay for it, maybe I can get it a little bit cheaper. Because I don't need it customized or nothing. But just kind of hey, just build the cart. I'll throw my cooler on there, and we're Gucci.
Slap a few stickers on it.
Yeah,
we're good.
Because I got that big white Arctic in there, and it's just kind of taking up space. Not taking up space. It
takes up half the back of your car.
Yeah. Well, the way I look at it is, if it's all the way down, a quarter of the car.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's kind of how I figure it. So.
Fair enough.
So then, today went really well. It was a good. I'm not gonna say good turnout. It was an okay turnout.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
They didn't.
Well, I mean, we're doing noon to 2. It's a tough poll.
Well, I mean, they didn't seem to think it was that bad.
Right.
But compared to last time, it was
Yeah, last time every seat was full for the entire 2 hours. This time it was kind of a lot of in and out. There was a few empty seats.
There was a lot of in and out at the last one, but it was 10 minutes and those seats were full again.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, well, and it was a bit warm and muggy today for outdoor dining, so I kind of get it.
Yeah. I got you.
Even the waitress was saying that. She's like, it's a little muggy out here, so.
Yeah. I mean, I think they had some people inside, so I'd imagine.
That's what she said. They had a pretty good turnout inside.
Yeah.
They had a pretty busy day.
Yeah. Which, that's fine. That's cool.
Yeah, and I don't think it was that, people minded the music. It's like I said, they just wanted to be inside with his air conditioning.
Yeah.
Because I'll admit, after we got done and we ordered food, it was absolutely delicious. Gracie's and Bastrop, awesomest, chicken fried steak I've ever had. Mm-hmm. But it was so hard to eat out in that heat and humidity.
And honestly, we needed to move back a little bit.
Yeah.
We need where all the fans were circulating. I think we'd have been probably in a little bit better position.
Right. I did recommend that to them. Maybe a couple more fans, one for the stage.
Yeah. Because that ceiling fan was fine. It was keeping air moving.
Right.
And obviously you don't want like fan blowing wind.
Not towards microphones, no.
Yeah.
But, you know, something like.
Yeah.
It was a bit.
But it is what it is.
Right,
And,
right. I enjoyed it. My second time there, and I still like that place a lot. We just have to rethink doing it during the hot months. That's all.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I'd really like to. I mean, I'm sure I'll talk to him at some point this week, or within the next couple of weeks. But I'd really like to try and get some consistency there, because like, I mean, I feel like there's an endless talent pool that we could just always kind of keep it fresh.
Right.
And
right.
even if we occasionally
centralized spot, so you can kind of get pulled from a wide radius.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's one of those things where it's like, even if we have to repeat a guest every once in a while.
Right, as long as they're not doing the same songs, telling the same stories, we're good. You know, it seems like a lot of our singer-songwriter people, you know, they're constantly writing new stuff. A couple of them mentioned that today, that, you know, they write them faster than they can record them.
Yeah.
And I get that, you know, because that happens with my band, too. Right now, we have more than an album's worth of new material, and we just haven't made it into the damn studio.
Yeah, it happens, you know. Yeah. Especially singer-songwriter, you don't have anybody to worry about but yourself, so it's just kind of like, cool, we're good.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it is what it is. But yeah, like, if we can get 3-4 times a year there, like, I think that'd be kind of cool. But also, I don't want to overplay it, you know.
Yeah.
Because the one waitress thought we were there like every month, and I'm like, no, I don't. Like, I mean, I'm sure if we
like
really
2 months ago, but
no, it was March 1st, so it was
2 months ago, 3.
April, May, June. Today's June 1st, so
not bad.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's just one of those things where I think there's an opportunity there, but at least right now we don't want to oversaturate it.
Right, yeah.
Because I know when we first started talking about it, about running it back this quickly, we were a little apprehensive about it. But, you know, it's just kind of like, we got to do it somewhere. And Roswell wasn't ready. Like,
but I think it will be soon.
Yeah. Like, unless we're ready to shell out, like, bringing people in.
Yeah.
Roswell just doesn't have the scene right now. Like,
yeah. No, we definitely got to bring in outsiders. There are some, you know, new and up and comers, singer-songwriters. There's a few newer ones. You know, it's too bad we don't have the capability to do this show, but with full bands.
Yeah,
you know, that would take a lot more work. We need more people, everything.
Yeah, it's,
you know, for the two of us, that would be a hard pull.
And plus, we'd need like a 20-channel mixer. A 6-channel interface ain't gonna cut it.
Right, exactly.
You know, you think about when we would do full bands of the original series.
Yeah.
That was, 10, 12 channels we would use, because we would take the 4-channel.
Yep.
And then the 8, the H6, and then the R24.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, exactly. And plus, with this show, you'd want to have microphones for like each member.
Yeah.
So they could talk.
Yeah.
You know, so you add that on top of it.
You'd almost need the L20 for that one, like a 20-channel mixer.
Right, exactly.
And even then, you're kind of stuck with what you can do, because, you know, it's like you can't give mics to everyone, because if you're looking at 7, like a band of 5, right?
Right.
7 vocal mics plus a 5-piece drum kit mic kit.
Yeah.
And then miking all the other instruments, you're already coming close to 20 right there.
Right, exactly. No, it's a lot. So. And then trying to do all that by myself, and then have multiple bands and swap them out. Like, that's some work.
So you're trying to see how far you can lay down without...
Oh.
Maybe.
We're not using the camera, right?
No.
All right, cool.
No, you don't see that camera right there?
Oh, yeah.
It watches you. It watches you while you sleep.
If you guys could see me right now, I'm practically doing yoga on Tom's couch, like stretching out and shit.
That's funny. You're a wild one.
I'm just getting comfy, man. He's got an all right couch.
All right.
Yeah.
Just all right.
I like it. It's comfy. My ass slept on it last night.
Yeah. I mean, I've passed out on it a couple different. I slept on it Friday night.
Yeah.
Like I slept on it for about 3 hours, and I was just like, oh, because I used to hate sleeping on the couch, but then like when I'm tired enough, I'll sleep, and it doesn't matter. So, but yeah, no, the good show, and then our next confirmed one is September 13th out in Tucson.
Okay.
That's the next confirmed one. Well,
is it that same place?
Yeah, same place.
Gotcha.
We'll see how that one goes. Honestly, we'll give it one more run and see how it goes, and then if we decide not to go back, we don't go back. You know.
Right.
So,
and then I don't think Tucson's too bad in September.
No.
At least you didn't tell me July.
No.
You know?
Well, I mean, they've got an inside venue, so
true.
We'll see.
True.
It's just, because I had a lot of people asking me if we were coming back out to Tucson, and I was just like, I mean, we can, it's not hard. So it's just a lot. And the one show we had, it was an okay turnout, but
it wasn't too bad.
I don't know. We just don't have a following. We don't have a crazy following in Tucson. Like that's
right. Well, it's more down to the venue and the artists to pull people in.
Yeah.
It's because we're not local to that area. They are. So we'd have to rely on them to get a good turnout.
Right. And so, it's hard, especially in an area that you're not from. But, maybe we're not as far off as we think we are. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah. We'll do it again.
Yep.
That place was cool. It was like an arcade bar.
Yeah. It was a pinball bar. It was really cool. But yeah, I think we'll hit 6 up. I know our goal was 4 this year.
Right.
I think we'll hit 6 pretty.
That's already looking that way.
Because if we're going to do one at Energy.
One more and it's 4, I mean.
Yeah. We got one more. The way I look at it is we're at 2 right now. Right? Yeah, 2 right now. We've got the one in September. I'm assuming that we'll probably do one at Jam. So that's already 4 right there. And then we want to try and get back to Bastrop. Although we're going to have to be careful with that because Bastrop and Jam are practically almost the same area.
Yeah. Yeah, they're pretty close.
I don't know. We'll see. Because I feel like there's going to be people that aren't at Jam that would show up to Bastrop,
Yeah.
And then we have the 10-year show, which that's not confirmed yet, or at least
it's penciled.
Right.
I wouldn't,
I mean, I would say the show is confirmed, but any of the actual details aren't.
Right. It's going to be between one of 2 venues, probably, and then we aren't 100% on the artist yet. We're starting to work on that.
Yeah.
We've been spitballing some ideas. We got a few people.
It's a show that we're going to do in mid-December, but who's going to be there and where we're actually going to do it has not been decided yet.
Right. But it's going to happen.
That sounds like every freaking musician ever. It's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
It's like
that's where I get it from. I'm a musician.
Yeah, fair enough.
But, I've manifested a lot of things that way, so.
That's fair.
Yep.
So how's everything going out in Roswell? I know you guys got some
not bad,
pretty cool shows coming up.
Yeah. We just got booked for UFO Fest, which is cool. We didn't play last year. We did play a few years in a row. I think we played 4 years in a row. We ran sound a couple of years for it.
Yeah. Well, because I know there was a point there where you guys were kind of like, we're good on it.
I was just tired of it. They want... and it was just getting ridiculous with the funding and the budget and this and that, and that's what we're being told. And every year they were like, oh, well, if you could just take this low price this year, we'll pay you better next year. And it never happened. They'd lower it again next year and ask us to take a lower price than the year before to play at 100-plus degree weather. Mm-hmm. Out in the sun or under a tent, but you're basically out in the heat.
Yeah.
And it's not easy.
Right.
And setting your equipment up, breaking it down, getting on and off fast enough for the next act or, the one before you.
And I think
they want to pay a full, 4-piece band $150.
Right.
It's like, what the fuck, dude?
And I think it's one of them deals where it's like, you you guys really helped yourselves out by starting to say no.
Yes.
Because they were like, oh, well, they're a local band. We can pay them nothing. Well, they're paying fucking lounge singers to come in. Well, and they're paying them $10,000 or whatever.
Yeah, $5 or whatever. They were paying like out of towners, like out of staters, like $5-6 to come in, and they would have like 15 people watching them perform. Meanwhile, we get up there for $150 and have 200 people on that lawn.
Yeah,
you know, like buying things from vendors and spending money down there and stuff. And it's like, come on, dude, we're worth a lot more than that. Yeah. So we just told them no last year. Yeah. And then suddenly this year they hit us up and we're like, all right, this is our rate. This is how much we want. And I'm not going to say how much. And they agreed to it. So we got our exact full rate.
Nice.
Yep.
And the lineup this year, like the lineup, for a while hasn't been like outrageously exciting.
No, it looks like they got a couple of cool like theme bands this year though. I don't know anything about them. I haven't even Googled them.
Right. But it's interesting. Like, some of the bands that they have on there look like massive cucks.
Kinda. Yep. And then, you know, we're gonna blow the doors off the place like usual.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out who the hell's texting me. It's nobody recently because it's just the chime bell. Like, nobody.
Right. Yeah, it's not my phone. If this fucking thing makes a noise, I'll toss it.
Yeah. Because most people that are, like, close friends, it's like, I'm working on building out like custom ringtones for all of them. Yeah. So in that way, it's like, okay, Jeff texted me, or my sister texted me, or my dad texted me, and
I don't have the patience.
What?
I don't have the patience to sit down and do that.
Yeah, well,
I'll do like 2 of them and be like, "Fuck this."
I mean, that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah,
but it's just one of those. It's like, oh, okay, whatever. But I'm working on it, so. But yeah, like it is what it is at this point, you know. It's getting to be the heat of the summer, and like shows are picking up, but it's almost becoming like hard to get out to shows because it's so freaking hot out anymore.
I feel that,
especially here in Waco. I feel like there's a lot of outdoor venues that and I mean,
like, you know, go sweat for 2 hours,
right? And like the open mics are fine, like those are fun, but I don't really know, like, I don't know the scene like that here. Like, my scene is kind of spread out.
Right.
And it's not easy to go drive an hour to, like, Hutto, or 2 hours to Bastrop, or 2 hours to Fort Worth, or an hour to Temple, or, you know, whatever. And especially when there's alcohol involved, and it's like, I'm definitely not making that trip. Like, I'm not.
Well, no, because then you got to go and just be around drunks because you're not going to drive for 2 hours drunk.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And it's just kind of like, I'm good on it. Like, especially with how much they charge for liquor around here.
Right.
Like, I'm like, every so often, when I first moved here, there's a bar down the way here over by the airport.
Is it an airport bar?
No.
Oh, okay. Because those are like magnificent.
No, it's not an airport bar.
Okay.
So, you know, I used to go over there and like I'd get like a beer or two.
Yeah.
And even then I was apprehensive about driving home because it's like it's the only
you don't want to
bar.
catch DUI.
Yeah, it's like the only bar. So you know damn well at a certain point the cops are going to sit out there and just pull people over.
Right.
You know, because
that's one thing about growing up in Worcester, Massachusetts. There's like most neighborhoods have a neighborhood bar you can walk to.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if you live in a more upscale, like single family home neighborhood,
right? Maybe
not, but in most of the neighborhoods around that city, you could walk to your local bar. Yeah. You know, which is nice.
Yeah. And, you know, like, I mean, I guess technically you could walk to this one, but it would suck because you got to go up the hill, down the hill. Then you got to go down Lakeshore Drive.
Dude, I wouldn't even want to walk up your fucking driveway. Never mind, like, the other side of it. You know what I mean? Yeah. That hill alone is enough to be like, all right, I'm going home. Fuck that shit.
Right? Well, you should see it when it, like, ices here. Like, they're fuckers with their 4x4-wheelers are like, oh, well, I got to get to work. And then they try and run up the hill when it's iced over.
Fishtailing and sliding.
And it's like...
They get halfway and then have to go back down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, y'all are stupid. You know that, right? Like, yep. I got a 4x4.
Most people with four-wheel drive, like the four-wheel drive replaces their brain somehow because they think it's like, you know, it's a like invincible mode for their car.
Yeah. And it's like, even if you make it up the backside where make it up the hill, you still got to come back down it. And I don't give a shit what kind of car you're driving. Yeah. Going down an icy hill, you have no fucking control.
Yeah, it's four-wheel drive, not four-wheel stop, asshole.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Well, and it's funny because, you know, where I work, we got the big yard out back.
Yeah.
And it'll get, like, really bad when it rains. Like, the mud there, you know, because the soil's so soft, it gets really, really bad. And people be like, well, I go four-wheel drive. And I'm like, okay, so all four tires will sink in the mud.
Mm-hmm.
And they just look at you like, oh. It's like, yeah, dude, like, four-wheel drive ain't going to help you here.
Yeah.
You know? Like, so all four will spin and dig in.
Yeah, and then the more you spin it, the worse it gets, and the worse it gets, the worse you're fucked, and the worse you're fucked, the angrier you get.
Yep. Next thing you know, I got to hook a fucking chain around your axle and pull you out with a fork truck and risk getting the fork truck stuck.
Right.
When the fork truck weighs like over 12,000 pounds, it's heavier than your car.
Yeah.
Heavier than your 4x4.
And then you got to go get, it's a whole thing.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Luckily in the issue with Roswell is it doesn't have any like good drainage. Like if it rains for an extended period.
Right. That's how we got that flood.
Yeah.
The once in 100 years. I hate those kind of terms.
The once in 100-year flood that's happened 5 times since I've lived there.
Yeah. You know, whenever the news or anyone's like, oh, you know, once in a century, it's like, all right, dude, shut up.
Yeah.
You know, that shit happened like 3 weeks ago. What are you talking about?
Right.
You know, how many times a year do you hear a once in a lifetime event? It's like, oh. All right, there's only 6 of them this month, right?
It's
it's a pet peeve of mine. I hate like blanket statements like that.
Right. And I get it, like they're trying to sell ratings and all that stuff.
Right.
But
other, like made up terms I hate is like when they talk about like, you know, wind chill factor and real feel and all that. It's like, dude, that's all made up shit.
Right.
You know, it's cold and windy, dude.
There's no way you can accurately describe how cold it actually feels.
Right, exactly. Every human is different.
Yeah.
You know, because no matter how cold it gets, we all know the one asshole that wears shorts and a T-shirt, and he's like, I'm fine.
Right.
With his backwards hat. You know, there's always the backwards hat to go with
it's negative 40 degrees and he's outside wearing jorts and a hoodie.
Exactly. So don't tell me what the real feel is.
Right. It's like homeboys built different.
Yeah.
You might be stupid, but...
Yeah. They're not usually the smartest people you'll meet, but still, they exist. Yeah. You know?
So, I used to be one of them. I used to wear nothing but shorts.
Yeah.
And then like that lasted for about a year. And now I wear, like today is literally the first time I've worn shorts in probably about 9 months.
Oh, yeah. I've been wearing shorts a little more lately. Just because they're comfy, you know. I don't have air conditioning in my house at the moment.
Well, it's that they're comfy, but it's also, it was 102 today. I think that's what my car said, unless that was just from its...
that was just because of the way the sun was hitting it, that kind of thing, your surface temperature, I guess. Because I was seeing 92 to 95, depending on where we were.
But still, that's...
But it was like 50% humidity, so,
if I was sitting out there in blue... Like, I almost fell out today.
Sorry, I don't know if my feet stink.
You're fine. you almost fell out, or I almost fell out a couple times today.
Yeah.
And if I was wearing blue jeans, when I got in that car after we got done to kind of try and chill out for a second... Yeah. You would have not gotten me back out of that car.
Right. No, I kind of regret wearing the black slacks today. I wanted to look nice, and now I'm like, oh my god, bad
Are those the urban what the fuck are they called?
The Walmart pants.
Oh, Walmart pants.
Yeah.
Okay.
I bought them at Walmart for 1988.
Okay, that's fair. That's
like khakis, but black. You know.
Yeah.
That's all.
Because I had a Dickies. That's what I'm thinking of.
No, dude, Dickies suck now. I bought like 4 or 5 pairs a year ago for work, and they fucking fell apart in like a couple of months.
Really?
Yeah, like just I washed them a couple times. Now,
did you buy actual Dickies or did you buy them at Walmart?
No, like real Dickies.
Okay.
Yeah, like I ordered them online.
Not,
and
not throwing shade at Walmart, but I don't think Walmart gets the best quality shit right now.
I know. Well, I think part of it too is because I work with a lot of around a lot of chemicals and shit like that, battery acid, compressor fluids, things like that get on. But I mean, come on, Dickies is supposed to be like the tough stuff.
Yeah,
the Walmart pants lasted me longer than Dickies.
Right. And would you pay for the Dickies?
Shit, $40 a pair on the pants. Yeah. And after like maybe 5 or 6 washes, they all had holes in them.
That's funny.
Yeah. I was not happy about that.
I would have been calling Dickies, been like, yo, bitch, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah, I thought about actually like dropping a pretty mean email about it. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
Like, you guys have gone downhill.
Yeah. Unless this is a manufacturer
right
error, like a one-time error.
Yeah.
But the fact that you had 4 or 5 pairs.
4 pair. It's 4 pair. And they all 4 fell apart in the wash, dude. And I even had 1 pair that I didn't like pull the tags off, and I waited, and the other 3 fell apart.
Yeah.
So I threw 2 of them away. 1 I still got because I only got a few holes in the knee. And then I took out the new pair, and I'm like, all right, fine. I wore them a couple times, washed them, same thing, dude. After like 3-4 washes, I started like getting holes and everything else. I'm like, this is horrible.
Yeah, it's
meanwhile, the $10 and $15 Walmart work pants lasted me months.
Right. It's honestly, I feel like what's happening is it's the manufacturing process. They changed up the manufacturing process where it's probably not made in America anymore.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I don't think Dickies even made in America anymore. They're using just like cheap Chinese fabrics and labor, and you know what I mean.
And they'd rather
maximizing profits.
Yep, because they realized that they were making their pants so good that they weren't selling enough, and so they figured if we make it cheap, but what they're trying to do is find the happy medium where it's like, okay, we're still quality.
Yeah.
But
they built their whole brand on toughness.
Yeah.
And now, though, they got the brand to the point where they're going to sell regardless of the quality. They can drop quality and they'll still sell without losing a lot of units,
Because, like, back in the day, how long would your Dickies last?
A year or 2.
Okay.
I mean... it was a whole different type of job though back then too. Yeah. So I don't know, like
fair. Because I
can't say for sure it's the Dickies falling apart because of like,
or maybe they were just never that tough to begin with.
Right. Maybe it's just because of the job I have. The exposure to specific things is bad for whatever material goes right through them.
Yeah.
Battery acid will eat anything though. You got to be real careful with that shit.
That's like, I mean, I feel like that's the statement of a lifetime right there. So.
Yeah. We try our best. Like if people bring us batteries and there's like any kind of crack in them or anything, if they're leaking any fluid out of them, we don't buy them.
Really?
We're tired of it. Yeah. Like I talked with the owner and I'm like, dude, everyone here is going through clothing and shoes and everything else. That shit eats through everything.
Yeah.
It's costing us the company more with like our gloves and things like that too. Yeah. So, and he's like, all right.
That's
Stop
fair.
buying them if they're leaking. I'm like, thank you.
What do you guys even do with the batteries?
I put them on, stack them on a pallet with like cardboard in between layers, and then wrap them up with plastic and then ship them.
And do they like recycle them or?
Yeah. It's just dirty lead.
Okay.
It's and then the acid is recoverable too. There's a Chinese company that buys the used acids. We have a company out of Taiwan that buys old compressor fluid.
Mm-hmm.
So when people bring in the compressors out of like air conditioning units, refrigerators and stuff, if there's fluid in it, they'll empty it out into a special bin back at the main place.
Okay.
We resell that shit.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, even say the big thick gauge like copper wire.
Yeah.
That they run the big lines with and stuff.
Yeah.
That insulation when it gets like taken off, there's a market for that too. There's a company that has a way where they grind it back down and they add it in with the new plastic and they recycle it back in.
Yeah.
And reuse it.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it pays next to nothing, but it's no longer waste. And that's only in the last 5 years that's kind of developed.
Yeah.
Before that was like, because there is like a small amount of stuff we just can't sell and it's waste. Very small, but.
Because I've been seeing this stuff on TikTok where they'll take like old plastic bottles and stuff and recycle it down to like fabric.
Yeah.
Like they'll cut it down to like fabric and all that stuff. And that's kind of interesting. Like, the fact that we're finding a way to make things more reusable. I'm curious how comfy that would be. Like, if they made, like, a recycled plastic T-shirt or something.
I know.
I'm kind of curious how that would feel.
Yeah, same here. Well, and, like, honestly, we need to just kind of get rid of plastics.
Right.
Altogether, because, we're discovering that was a bad idea.
Yeah. All the microplastics.
Yeah, they're finding it everywhere now, in every, like, animal and plant in our food system, everything, dude. It's...
Well, I mean, here, like, I think that's kind of why you're starting to see all these water companies come out with canned water.
Right.
The only issue is they're building off these massive brands.
Yeah.
And they're selling the water for like $5 a can.
Right.
And it's like...
Well, and meanwhile, aluminum ain't the best thing on earth either.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like, either go back to glass or something, because like aluminum...
Glass was where it's at.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, for like containers, like, like drinking containers, things like that. I feel like glass would be better. Yes, it's heavier.
Mm-hmm.
But it has a higher recovery rate for recycling.
Yeah.
Just create like a redemption system like some states have.
Yeah. Like 5 cents or 10 cents.
Right.
Or...
It's a, whatchamacallit? They call it in Massachusetts, it's a deposit. When you go out and buy these products, you pay that 5 extra cents on each bottle or can.
Yeah.
And then you get it back on the recycling.
And same thing with the aluminum cans.
Right.
But
they do plastic, glass, and aluminum in Massachusetts are all like a nickel.
Okay.
But certain companies are exempt. Like there are certain types of cans that you couldn't recycle. Like I think of like Red Bull and stuff, or like Monster. One of those kind of cans doesn't have it. It's not included in the redemption somehow.
Really?
Yeah, it was weird. Like there were certain ones that you just couldn't.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Is it because like a lining on the inside, or like
No, I don't think it had anything to do with that. They just didn't. They weren't a part of the redemption system somehow. Like that company was outside of it.
Or was it? Does it have to do with the fact that there are already recycled cans? Like
maybe that I couldn't tell you.
That almost feels like something that a state would do. Be like, we've already paid for this can. We're not gonna pay for it again.
True. Very true.
And it's like,
but they don't make us pay for it either. Like there's no, deposit on it. So I mean, fair is fair.
So, it is. It's interesting just kind of having those conversations. So
yeah, I know, guys. This is a music podcast in here. We are talking about like everything else, but so what?
It happens.
Yeah,
it happens.
We talk about what we want to talk about. Musicians are very knowledgeable in other things. Like,
yes.
Like every musician I know has like another hobby other than music and stuff, or they have a professional life outside of music, and music is the hobby, and they're generally very smart people.
Yeah.
Talk to a musician. Most of them will give you a perspective you never thought of on something.
That's why I'm not a musician. I'm fucking stupid.
Nah, you're very smart in other ways.
Nah.
You know what I mean? Like shit, dude. Your media, musicians need like good media.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? Like, just like we need fans, we need media.
Yep.
It's almost the same thing.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that NWA album I found. I just literally watched it slide down the box over here.
Oh, yep.
And I don't know, like, I tried to look to see if it was like an original pressing, because it is.
It's a first print.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was looking at it, and I was, because it had like
Well, because you look at the copyright on the back, the small print. And the copyright's the year it came out. There's no reprint date, no reprint year.
Okay, so they would have to have a reprinted.
Yes, like so if you go back and look at the Beatles albums, it'll tell you original copyright, like 1963, reprint copyright.
That's fucking cool.
Yes.
Because I was sitting there, like, when we were at this place.
Because they have to renew the copyright when they do those reprints or represses or when they remaster things.
Yeah. And I was sitting there, I was just like, man, this NWA album would be a lot cooler in the collection. Yeah. Like Offspring, I like Offspring, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But NWA is a lot more iconic.
Oh, absolutely. And that was an older album.
Yeah.
Because Offspring came out in like the earlier 90s.
Yeah.
Because when I went and saw him, I was just barely, was I still in high school? I want to say it might have been my senior year. when they came out. 96.
96.
Yeah. 95, 96 would have been my senior year.
Damn.
I think I think it was 95.
No, well, no, it would have been 96 because you're 9 years older than me.
Yeah, am I? I'm going to be 37 this year. 47, sorry.
Okay, I just turned 38. Yeah, so you're
okay.
9.
Yeah, 9 years. I always thought it was 10 for some reason.
Yeah. So yeah, it'd be 90.
The first Offspring album come out. We're going to get an answer right now.
Thank you, Siri or whatever.
Oh, I guess they're older than I thought. But their first album actually came out in 1989.
Okay.
But that was like their own thing they did, like demo album kind of thing. Their first like real release to a record label's in 95.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was 95. Yeah. So yeah, that would have been my senior year. I was 17.
But maybe I was just thinking this, but next time we go drive through Taylor, we have to go to their other shop.
Yeah.
I'd be really interested.
Damn, I was really hoping to get a Melvin's record, dude.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep my eye. I wish we had a record shop in Roswell, but we don't.
No. It's like Roswell's good for a lot of things. It's just some of the specialty stores you're not going to get the support.
Right.
Like it's why what was that music shop that was on Main ended up having to close?
I forget now. Honestly.
But you know which one I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, right on Main the second there.
Yeah. And like they used to do shows in the back. They used to like that could have been turned in. Like that could have been something like how kind of Josh's deal is. Like it could have been the Liberty, the winery, and the music shop.
Yeah.
And like, okay, you're not good enough to play the Liberty. You're okay enough to play the winery, but you're just looking for a place to like really cut your chops. That music shop could have been it. Like it could have been.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we still have the brewery over there, which is a good spot for up and comers.
Yeah.
Singer-songwriters, they're back to doing open mics again at Stellar Coffee.
Yeah, and
stuff like that.
Ann was telling me that they're kind of starting to bring that back because I had a conversation with her about the musical outlaw deal.
Right.
And she was like, "Yeah, they're going to build out a deck or something in the back because they're trying to bring a brewery there."
Yeah, I've heard that before.
And
I've been hearing that for a couple of years.
Well, that was a rumor circulating when I was there because what was the brewery that was down in like Carlsbad that they wanted? It was the what was the name of that band that they all worked at this brewery or owned this brewery? Or
yeah, I know what you're talking about. I forget the name of it though.
But
I'm bad with names.
No, it's good. But you know that was a rumor or a plan back in 10 years ago, 9 years ago, whatever it was. You know.
Yeah, but the hard part is getting Roswell City Council to approve of that.
Yeah, I've heard liquor licenses are a bitch in Roswell.
They really are. They hold on to them.
That's why companies think they're worth so much more than they actually are because they got a freaking liquor license.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like if you have a small business in Roswell with a liquor license, it's worth like 3 times as much just for that license.
Right.
You know.
Little Roswell, New Mexico politics.
Yeah, it's they got more church pews than parishioners.
Right.
You know.
Right.
I'm gonna change my socks on here.
That's fine. I was like, it's starting to smell a little funky over here.
Yeah, sorry, dude, my feet stink.
Oh, you're good. Feet but no, like I'm really looking forward to the 10-year. Like, no matter where it happens, like even if we've got to go somewhere, just like completely random and do it.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that'll be the case. Like I think we'll get a venue. Like we've already been told we'll get one of the 2 big venues. Right. You know,
I think we'll be good.
But you know, I just don't like banking on maybes.
Right.
Or uncertainty. Right. Not even maybes, but like uncertainties.
Well, we're still like really far out too for a guarantee, which I get. You know.
Yeah.
But I say we'll probably get a guarantee in the next 90 days on that.
Which makes it hard because it's like,
I'm really thinking like 30 to 45.
Yeah,
I'm just saying for.
Well, because it's for us, like if we end up saying like let's say out of nowhere, not out of nowhere, but we get the Liberty on a Sunday night, which that's actually not a terrible night.
No, that'd be awesome. We just started early.
Yeah.
We started at 6 instead of 8, like a normal rock show would start.
Yeah.
We do like 6 to 8, an early show. Do it like it's a dinner show.
Or 6 to 9. Like, because I know we had talked about
we're going to do a little extra.
Yeah.
But yeah, like 6 to 8, 6 to 9. And people come out, they have dinner, they get home at a decent time for work in the morning.
Yeah.
And I think that would work well.
Wait, people in Roswell actually work on Mondays?
Some jobs. Some place. I mean, I have stuff I gotta do on Monday.
It was a joke, guys.
Yeah, I know. I have Mondays off, but
I don't know. It seemed like
this place is open when I'm off, so
it seemed like anytime I went somewhere on a Monday, they were always freaking closed in Roswell.
Sunday, Monday is like the days they take off in Roswell the most. It's like the weekend in Roswell.
It's very odd. Like Mondays are very hard days to do anything.
They are.
So
they can be. At least you can guarantee all like government business is open and shit. Like post office and city hall, things like that.
Obviously, I'm not being serious when I say all that, but
No, I know. The banks are open at least. Fuck it.
Yeah, right. Because they have to be.
Yes, exactly.
But, it is what it is. And I think, because like I have some like big aspirations for the 10-year show. Like I have some.
I know you do.
Like I really want to like go unnecessarily big with it.
Right.
And I mean, I guess it's not unnecessarily big, but it's just like really like it to sing and send a message to some of our doubters out there.
Right.
You know, because especially in Roswell, we have a few of them.
Yeah. Well, as soon as we get a guarantee and then we start getting a lineup, I'm gonna pump the hell out of it, like locally. I might even put a little money into local advertising.
Yeah,
it ain't that expensive, and I get some good deals.
I mean, like when you say local advertising, are you thinking radio, TV, like
all of them?
All of them.
Yep, possibly even the billboards on Main, the digital ones are starting to put up.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, there's a few of them up and down Main now.
I guess I haven't really been paying attention to the
there's like 2 or 3 up and down Main. You can get.
Roswell's a very interesting city like that. They've got so many freaking billboards. It's not even funny.
Right.
Like.
So I mean, let's look at our options, and then I might even do me and my wife were talking about like for one of the band shows, but we could do it for live and amplified, like a sponsored TikTok ad.
Yeah.
And just create one of them. TikTok goes hard in that area.
Yeah. Well, because what I would probably do is like I just run a really long Facebook run.
Right.
Because that's what I've been doing.
I know that's like where you would go. That's why I'm thinking outside of that.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, we'd contact like our media connections because we have a few of them.
Oh yeah, we do.
But
we'll get some.
It's all gonna take time. Like we need the confirmation first. We need to get an initial lineup, and it can't be. I'm trying to think how I want to say this without offending anyone. It can't be just the local people, because then that doesn't set us apart. We have to.
We gotta have like a headliner, like a solid headliner for it. I get it,
and
that's right. We've kicked around a few names. We won't say any on the broadcast.
I mean, but even
we've kicked around a few names that I know.
Even the name that we've thrown around consistently, I feel like having him close or like having them close is probably a decent call.
Yeah,
but if we were able to get
technically, he's no longer a local either.
Yeah, but I think if we were able to like pull a real rabbit out of the hat, like, oh shit, they went and got so and so.
Yeah,
because the guy that we've been talking about, we could pull him, but even though he's not local anymore, he is still technically local.
Right. He'll always be like a local legend.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. But not trying to throw shade at anybody or nothing like that. No. It's just, to me, we've had so many great musicians, and I think part of the conversation we've had is, do we want to take the 10-year to introduce new musicians, which isn't a bad idea. but I think we need to use it as an opportunity to showcase like some of the underserved musicians that we've had on.
Yeah.
Like some of the like real show, like if we would have taken that lineup today, maybe reworked it like, yeah, if we would have taken that lineup today and the lineup from the last show in Bastrop and took it over there, like I'm sure it'd have done fine. Like it would have done fine.
Oh yeah.
But we need to find a nice mix of like one or two local musicians in Roswell. Get some of the people that are like our ride or dies, like the people,
of course,
that do that. But there's got to be like especially if we're at the Liberty, we have to go through like the list of people that we've worked with and be like, okay, they're doing something crazy, and we got to bring them in. Like, I think that's really the only way to do it. So,
absolutely,
But those are all just conversations, and once we actually get a confirmation and figure out, okay, we're going to try and do a fundraiser. This is kind of money we're going to try and raise. So in that way, we're not coming out of pocket with a whole bunch of stuff.
Right.
Because I'm not going to put them up at the fucking Clarion.
No. Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to put them up at one of the 3 really nice hotels on Main there, on the tourist side of Nimi.
Yeah.
Whether it's Home Suites or what's that apartment place that they just built off of Virginia? It's like,
I don't know.
It's like a really nice.
Drawing a blank.
It's like a really nice hotel. It's like in between Virginia and.
I don't know the name of it, honestly, but I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
I've driven by it.
Yeah. So, but we'll see what happens. Like, it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
But, anyways, I think we're both getting pretty tired. We got to get up early in the morning. So,
I was getting ready to yawn, actually. I'm like, don't do that on air.
Right. So, we'll wrap it up here.
All
and
right. It's good, like, getting a chance to catch up and talk and do a Sunday sit down for y'all.
Yep. I'm looking over at the clock, and I'm like, oh, yeah, we went for a little bit, so that's good.
Almost an hour.
Yeah. But once again, thank you, everybody, for checking us out and hanging out with us. Make sure you check out Live and Amplified. Social medias at Live, the letter N, Amplified. And we're pretty much everywhere. So
yes, we are.
Want to thank you all for joining us.
All right.